How's it going, everyone? It's Daikin here, bringing you another Melty Blood video, and today we're going to be talking about everything Dead Apostle Noel. Now, this is going to be going over everything from her specials, her normals, and supers, as well as a few combos and Oki situations to get you guys started. Now, this character is very unorthodox and has a very high ceiling, so there's plenty of other things that's going to be optimized later on, but this is just the basics of the basics to get you guys started so you can go ahead and start having fun with this character at a pretty decent level, so you can start doing everything this character has to offer, at least at a basic level. So let's go and get started talking about Dead Apostle Noel. Starting off with her normals, her 5A and 2A is going to be nothing really to write home about, just your standard 5A and 2A. Her 2A is going to be a low. Her 5B is going to be unique in aspect. It doesn't have the horizontal range as other 5Bs in the game. This is going to be mainly used for like ground to air combos or situational anti-airs. Now her 2B is going to be one of her better pokes. This unfortunately is not a low. This is going to be a mid. So this is a mid. She only has two lows, which is going to be her 2A and 2C. Now talking about her C normals, her 5C is going to be very good. Her 5C and her 2C is also going to be very good. So 2B, 2C, and 5C are going to be your best ground pokes for this character. Now her 5C is going to be her furthest reaching poke, just because she actually moves in when she presses the button, so it has a little bit of deceptive range as far as how far it goes. Our 2C is going to be her second farthest reaching poke, but she actually sort of moves backwards when she does this, unlike her 5C where she moves in. Now her 5C is also going to have the pull-in effect, so like this, so you can use the charge version in neutral too, just because it has the clash frames on that, so just keep that in mind as well. Noel's last grounded normal is going to be her 6C. Now this is going to be a single projectile that pushes Noel backwards, so this is good for creating space inside of block strings. This can also be charged as well, and it also does chip damage, so it is a normal that does chip damage, and it's a pretty fast projectile. It is a bit hard to confirm unless you're pretty close, so using it and trying to confirm it is kind of hard to do. Just keep that in mind as well. Talking about Noel's jump normals, her JA is going to be a standard air jab. This is going to be your go-to air to air. Nothing really crazy about this. Her JB is going to be a little different from other JBs as far as it don't have the horizontal reach as some other ones. It sort of goes up in a diagonal, so it's not really going to be used as far as an air button that much to try to like catch air buttons, but it actually does have a really good hitbox behind it. So if you somehow cross up your opponent because she has a really really far dash, you can sometimes hit the opponent with the JB. So if you notice that you're going to be crossing up or you overshot somehow, pressing JB is probably the best button you to press, just because it actually does have a little bit of a backwards hitbox that can throw your opponent off guard. So try to approach with this button if you realize that you're going to actually whiff, or rather overshoot on your opponent. Her JC is going to be a really good air to ground move. This is very good. It has a charge on it as well. The charge is going to give you a bounce on hit, so just keep that in mind. So you're going to have bounce combos. A pretty standard way to pick this up is with the 5B. So this into 5B is very good to pick up for the combo when you do hit with that. You can also use it as far as jumping in like that because it is a charge normal, so you do have the plus frames on that. And then of course you can do air dash shenanigans off that as well, so just keep that in mind that you can get the air dash stuff to work like that. And lastly, for Dead Apostle Noel's air normals, we're going to talk about the trajectory of them. So she has one of the air dashes that can't cross up. However, she doesn't have a way to reliably do a double button, but she does have one, which is going to be JBJA on a standing opponent. Now this only works if they're blocking, so if they block the first hit, as you see, then this will happen. If they get hit, then the second hit will whiff, but if you go into 2A, you will still get the combo to happen just like that. So this is one recording and it's going directly into the 2A, but as you see, if it whiffs, it's okay, you still get a combo. So just keep this in mind that if you want to go for a double overhead, JBJA will be your best bet, and going into 2A right afterwards. Talking about Dead Apostle Noel's special moves, her 214 series is going to give her the rod toss. The A version is going to put it closer to her, while the B version is going to put it much further away. So this is the A version, which is putting it close to her, and this is the B version, putting it a little further away. So it goes about mid-screen for that one, and then this one is like really close to her, probably like a character distance away. So just keep it in mind the two differences that these distances cover. Jump 214A is going to be a set of projectiles for her. This is going to cover a specific angle. Now the thing you need to know about this is you can charge this, and also if you charge this, you also get abilities to jump. So this is jump cancelable on charge. So this is something that's going to be very important for you to get down and basically just realize that you can make yourself safe while still covering certain angles, and you could get out of there or move closer to your opponent to try to get a good situation for you. Her 2-2 series is going to be resonate. So this is going to resonate with the rods itself. So the A version is going to resonate with the rod closest to her, as you see, and the one that is B22B is going to resonate the one further away from her. This also includes the super version, which we'll talk about later. Keep in mind, this is relative to the direction that she is in. So if she goes this way, the A version will now be on this side. So as you see, it always does the one closest to her, no matter which direction that you put the opponent in. So it doesn't switch. Keep in mind, the A will always do the one closest to you first, and the B will always do the one further from you. Our 236 series is going to be a set of projectiles. So the A version is going to cover a sort of diagonal angle, and the B version is going to cover a sort of horizontal straight angle right above her head. Now she can also do these in the air, just like this, to cover different angles, and all of these can all be charged. So both of the ground ones and both of the air ones can all be charged. So just keep this in mind as well. Now the ground ones and the air ones all have this follow-up, which is going to be back button. So any button minus the shield button is going to give you this extra follow-up that you could do. You could do this from the air, or you could do this from the ground. Doesn't matter which button you do. The only restriction to this is you can't do it from a hold. So if you are doing a hold attack, you can no longer do that. So just keep this in mind, that the hold versions don't allow you to actually do this. Noel 236 series also has an additional follow-up, which is going to be a dash that can actually dash through the opponent if you're close enough. Keep in mind, the projectile actually don't have to hit the opponent before you actually do the dash. You can do it at any time, including on whiff and in the air. So just keep in mind that you can do this at any time. However, I don't recommend you do it on block as much, just because of how punishable it can be. The 236 series can also be TK'd. This will allow you to cover angles much further away. So if you don't do the 236A with the TK, you won't be able to cover the full screen. But if you TK this from full screen, you'll be able to actually hit them right above their feet, as you can see. And this will be able to allow you to cover that range you weren't before. The last important thing you may want to know about her projectiles is there is a certain restriction in place when it comes to her charges, as far as how many you actually have on the screen. So if you are doing the air versions of these, you can actually have 2 on the screen at one time, as this. However, if you happen to do these first, you can no longer do the 236 series. Instead, you have to wait until these go away. So if you want to have 2 of them on screen, you have to do this one first and then do the air version. This is the restriction in place. I don't know why, but this is the restriction for Noel. And the final special move to talk about for Dead Apostle Noel is going to be her DP. Now her ADP is going to be unique in the fact that it don't have invincibility like all the others. However, this one has the ability to be jump cancel, so you can actually use it for combos. Her BDP is actually going to be just a standard reversal with invincibility on it, so you will use that one on wake up. Talking about Noel's supers, her 236 is just going to be a projectile spam that's going to give you a knockdown depending on how much hit stun is left. So you can do this in the air, and this will give you a hard knockdown depending on how much hit stun there is left. So if there's a lot of hit stun to work with, you'll get a hard knockdown. If it's not a lot, then it will just give you an air tech. Noel's 214C super is going to be the party starter. This is going to be the super you end combos with in order to set up Oki situations where you can actually resonate with these actual rods. Now the cool thing about this one is it actually give you 3 to work with. The same thing still applies. The A resonate will give you the closest one, the B version will give you the furthest one. However, the C version, which is her super, actually just explodes them all, but keep them there. So you actually have an additional use of the rods. If you do another 22C, that's when they will go away. So you can use it up to 2 times before it actually goes away and keep the rods there. So if you want to keep them there for the next situation and just spin meter to actually keep them there and then throw your opponent into the rods, this is a situation that you could use that makes it very scary and keeps the rods there for the next pressure situation. And lastly, her final regular super is just going to be a standard DP. So this is just a regular DP super with invincibility. Nothing really special to talk about there. So before we get into the combos, normally I wouldn't talk about an arc drive. However, Dead Apostle Noel's arc drive is pretty unique on block. So if you happen to block this super, the rods will come out and then a consecutive amount of rods will also come out, which will be 3 consecutive rod strikes. Now the first one will track you around mid-screen. So around mid-screen, the first one will track you, so you see the first one miss. The rest will track you indefinitely until they're all gone. Now, the unique thing about this as well is if you happen to get hit during it, yes, she can combo you from the rods. So if you happen to get hit, she can pick it up for a quick combo. So this is something that you have to keep in mind when you're actually dealing with this. She can combo from the rods, so you do have to worry about that. You can shield the rods, however, you do have to worry about the initial other rods that are coming. Also, if you happen to put her in block stun, you do have to worry about the rods. Then if you hit her, the rods will not happen. So if I happen to make it to where she actually guards, the rods will still come and you have to worry about them. So just keep this in mind, that if she does the super, you sort of just have to try to get away from her at that point if you happen to block it, because there's going to be consecutive rods that are going to be coming, or you can try to hit her before the rods come and that will make them stop. One more important thing I want to talk about before we actually get into combos is actually her moon skills. So she has a few moon skills that are actually going to be very crucial to her game plan. So starting off with her 6BC, this is going to be a standard projectile, nothing too crazy. I really can't do much off of. You could do it in the air as well. This could really much only be covered up like this. That's the only way you can like really get something from it. It's not jump cancelable or anything like that. You have to hold the recovery. So it is just a standard projectile from moon skill. Her 2BC is also really nothing to write home about. It's just a resonating thing as well. This one just has a set order as well, so it actually does the back one first. I don't really know the difference on this one, to be honest. Maybe the radius of them is slightly bigger. I don't really know. I don't really see too many people use this one either, so I don't really expect anything from this one that much. Now, the two we really have to talk about is her 4BC and her 3BC. Now, 4BC is going to be unique in the aspect that this is actually going to be an overhead. So we have her to crouch block, and you can see this is actually an overhead, so she has to stand up and actually block this. So you can use this in block streaks to try to catch your opponent, and if it actually hits the opponent, you can actually convert the combo with this really quickly, and it pops them up in the air and you're able to convert it pretty easily. So it's also very good for just a combo starter and can catch people. But also, because it's a part of the 214 series, it's also really good at baiting people for trying to tech throws and going over lows because of how fast she hops away. So this is really good for trying to bait throws, much like the 214 series itself, and is good at actually beating low attacks. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, her 3BC is going to be her best moon drive skill. So if you want to utilize the clash frames, this is going to be the best one as far as getting those clash frames that you want. So if you're in moon drive, this is the one you're going to want to do. It's actually jump cancelable on whiff as well, like all the other ones, like most of them that go in the air like this. So it is going to be very good, and of course you can pick it up for a combo if you instant air dash. So you jump cancel into instant air dash, and you can pick it up for a nice combo. So it's very good for using the moon drive skill when you actually have the clash frames available. And finally, the part that I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for, a few combos and Oki setups to get you started. I'm going to demonstrate a few setups that are going to be here, a few combos that are going to be mid-screen, and a few combos that are going to be in the corner, as well as an air combo to get you guys started with the notations down below. And lastly, now that I showed you the combos for meterless and metered combos for Oki, now it's time to actually show you what type of actual mix-ups you can do from these actual opportunities. And that pretty much covers everything you need to know to play Noel at a basic level. Now you understand all her normals and her specials and supers and all the properties on them. You got a few combos to get started, both meterless and metered for Oki situations, and now you understand some mix-up options that you can use. As always, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, let me know by leaving a like and of course subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, as well as leaving a comment. Let me know what Melty Blood video you want to see next on the channel, and of course sharing videos out like this to your friends to help the reach definitely helps the channel out as well. As always, you like anything I had to say, drop me a like, I greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow me on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Daikin, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.